My name's Dave Gilbert. I'm a vet from up in Staffordshire, and I've been doing a workshop for predominantly autumn block calving herds at the Kinches farm down in Oxfordshire. I was last here in the autumn, and at that time the herd was just about to start breeding, and we were doing a planning meeting to look at where the herd's likely improvements might lie. What steps they might take to enhance their fertility performance. Now, we're coming out of a year where the fertility performance hadn't been just quite as good as it might have been, and we were looking at what we could do to try and enhance that. And then today we were really looking at the outcome of that, so we've done quite a bit of fertility analysis to look at the changes we made, what impact that's had, what the successes have been, and what we might do going into 2019 to try and improve things further. I think because the guys took a fairly structured approach to what they did last year, I think most of the changes we've made had a positive impact for one reason or another. So the three big changes we've talked about today, Phil invested quite a lot of capital into a new heat detection system, a new cow-based, collar-based detection system. And we talked quite a lot today about the impacts that's had on submission rate, but also on the accuracy with which they've been able to detect heat, and the consequent impact that has had on their conception rates, which have both really improved. But we also talked about some of the practicalities and the benefits of that in terms of the other things that the system delivers. So detecting sick cows, detecting calving cows, and also the resilience that builds into Phil's business, the ability to sort of automate and control some of that is less reliant on individual members of staff. There's a little bit more system and process there to back that up. So yeah, firstly, the heat detection system, big improvements and big wins made across the piece with fertility there. We talked a bit more generally about the way they manage the cows here, and the focus being on keeping the cows in correct body condition score and the impact that has on subsequent fertility performance. And it's really pleasing to see at this time of year, just coming into dry off, a really uniform bunch of cows that are in optimal body condition score, real testament to the work that's been done. And then finally, we talked a bit about the heifer performance. Last year, they'd had a real hiccup with their heifer breeding plan. This year, they've made a couple of changes. One of the things that's consistent is they've used sex semen quite heavily here. And most farms would say that's going to have a real negative on fertility performance. The outcome of the results here at Buscot Wick don't seem to show that. They've managed to use that sex semen. I'm not saying it's not had any impact, but they've still hit really good fertility performance numbers. So with the heifers, they changed their system. They moved away from reliance on external contractors. They synchronized the heifers to make doing that job a bit more practical, and so they could focus their attention a bit more on the cows. They bred them to sex semen, and they still managed to achieve 60% conception rates to the AI, and we're on target for 90% of heifers to be encalved by 6 weeks. So it was really a story there of the balance between practicality and results. Nobody's saying that those two things don't have any impact on fertility performance, but the guys have managed to balance that, deliver a practical solution, and still get the results they need. Crossbreeding is much talked about, and there's lots of benefits to it, but it can be quite complex to deliver. And I think, again, one of the testimonies to Ben and Phil here at Buscot Wick is how carefully they go about that process to maximise their results. So they look at the cows, they look at the genetic reports, they look at all the bulls that are available from all of the suppliers, and they really focus on what their key breeding aspirations are, what traits they do and don't want to breed into those cows, and are very, very selective in what genetics they put into the herd. And again, to look at the cows here today, they've got really good performance numbers. The cows are in really good condition, and they're really uniform, which is quite unusual to see in a herd that's used a lot of different genetics over time. I think today was a really positive event. We had a really big turnout. I guess there must have been about 80 people here. It's something that, as dairy farmers, you've paid for through your levy. That's why it's put on, so you should get that value out of it. And I think the farmers who attended today did get a lot out of it. We had a lot of interaction, a lot of questions, people looking to refine what they're doing, people looking to just understand a little bit further how they might review their data, what different things might mean, how they might go about addressing specific concerns. So I think overall it's been valuable to everybody who's attended today to really help them refine their current herd performance and deliver success in the future.